Well, I am using YouTube to record these meetings instead of using the ConferZoom recording feature, simply because it takes a really long time for the recordings to be processed, and I'd like for you to have access to the recordings as soon as possible. Here we are. It is April 26th. Yeah, April 26th, which means that we have pretty much exactly a month left of the semester. So keep this in mind as we're going forward. I'm getting a lot of questions about the smaller assignments. And while these are important for you to do your textual rhetorical analysis, I would say that focusing on them at this moment is probably not the way to go. I would say if you haven't started anything yet, the first thing that you're going to want to do is go to the discourse community research paper and have a look at that. Simply because you want to be focusing on that. The other assignments that we have are all leading up to the research paper. So having a look at that and making sure that you know what you want to write about is going to help, because we're finding sources for that research paper as of now. So what you'll want to do is start collecting sources. I think that if you really just don't know where to start right now, just begin collecting. And if you're not sure how to do that, then let me know, or tap Jen. Jen is your, as you know, your LR10 teacher. And if you're still not sure about research and stuff, she's obviously a great resource. She's a librarian. So I did have it so that you would be working on your annotated bibliography right now. I did have the due date as today, but I pushed everything back in the hopes that that would help with stress levels. Sorry, I'm in a different space right now, and I think that noise might be a problem. So yes, if you are done with your textual rhetorical analysis, and not many of you are, bringing your focus to the annotated bibliography is the number one thing that you want to do. Many of you who have been on these Zoom meetings know already that what we're looking for with the annotated bib is the sources that you'll use for your final paper done as a works cited page, and with annotations, which means that you are sort of describing what you're going to use it for, and like a small summary, that kind of thing. The great thing about that assignment is if you've done your textual rhetorical analysis, you can do this no problem. You can take the article that you've done for your analysis, cite it, and then fill in the bibliography or the annotation, which is just a summary of the article, a quote from the article, an explanation of the quote, how this compares to another article. Now, you should have some idea of another article that you're going to use at that point, but I will definitely understand if you don't have that. So if you have that fourth point, I can't wiggle just my pinky. If you have that fourth point and you're like, I don't have anything to compare it to, and I'm not sure what is actually going to be part of my bibliography, I can give a little bit of a pass on that. Okay, so if you don't have a comparison, just say that you don't have a comparison. And the last point is just a sentence that says how you're going to be using it in your paper. So the theory here is that if you've done your analysis, your textual rhetorical analysis, you're going to be able to do that that assignment, the one annotation assignment, which is the big one here, okay? And that'll be due at the on Thursday. I have it due on Thursday. So do that if you're done with your textual rhetorical analysis. If you're not done with your textual rhetorical analysis, then do that first. That's always going to be number one. I see that I have a few assignments here to grade. I'm really excited about that. Thank you so much for those of you who are keeping up with this. I don't see any more textual rhetorical analyses, and I hope that I do soon. That's vitally important that you get that in. And if you're just not sure where to start, I'm hoping that having this as a guide is going to help. And really, I do encourage you to go to the examples for these. The examples are A+ papers. They're students who went above and beyond. So they're there for as a model, but really what you should be looking at here is formatting and content. Don't worry about the length. I would encourage you very much not to worry about the length. Yes, you should have about 1,200 words, not 1,200 words, 1,000 words, right, for this one. But don't break your back trying to get to that number, okay? Just make sure that your content is all there. And I did have some feedback about the textual rhetorical analysis prompt, saying that, yeah, it's good to have it all broken down the way that I have it, but that there is a lot of information. But really do your best to compartmentalize, you know, focus on step 2. Focus on one thing at a time. You want to find your article first, right? You'll fill out the cheat sheet for the article and find the things that are working in it. Remember that you don't have to fill out every single section of the cheat sheet. That is, that's not what this is. Remember back to the close reading where all you're looking for is 3 rhetorical devices, those boxes. And the more you fill them up, the better, right? Because you'll have more examples of the rhetorical device. But you know, if you shouldn't have to fill up everything. You know, you should find the 3 that you can identify very easily. Figure out the examples for those, and then leave the rest of the cheat sheet blank. The only thing that's going to not be blank is the front page, and that's where you're going to identify the ethos, logos, and pathos. That can be tricky if you're not looking at the assignments that we have for Unit 4. I'd say just do the reading, take a quiz. You can take the quizzes many times as you want, and hopefully you'll have a better understanding of what the rhetorical triangle is all about. And then you can go forward, right? So, yeah, just take these in steps. Man, if we were in class, I would have entire days where we could take, you know, 2 hours and on one step, and we could actually figure it out. As it is, make sure that you are spending roughly 4 hours every work day. The idea is you want to spend as much time working as you would have worked in class, but for every hour that you would spend in class, you'd have at least an hour worth of work at home. So that makes it about 4 hours per class, and that makes it about 8 hours a week. And that seems like a lot, But again, if you just take it one step at a time, it shouldn't be that difficult, and you can get through these like little bits, right? What I've done for Unit 4 is I moved the paper down to the bottom because there has been a sneaking suspicion of mine that the first thing in the unit being the papers is a discouragement. I thought that the idea would be, here's what we're working towards. Now you can do the rest of it, but this might not be working for everyone. I'm doing it to the annotated bib now. You can watch me work in real time. But what you really need to focus on is the introductory portion, right? Like this is going to tell you what you need to do and why we're working on it. Unit 5 is not a lot of reading. I want to make that super clear because you will be finding your own sources and you're going to be reading them that way. So that's why there's no it's not that there's no reading, it's that there's very, very light reading in Unit 5. And that's really what I want you to focus on is finding your sources. So again, if you haven't started anything, I'd say that that has to be where you start. You have to find your sources before anything else, okay? And if you haven't started that and that's something that you can dive into, find at least 5, message me. I can sort of put you on the right track of what you should be doing next. I'll also send a message out to this effect, but I continue to be sort of alarmed by the lack of interaction that I'm seeing on the Canvas. So I don't know where to go from there because I'm not sure where you are. I'm spending some time tomorrow, that's Monday. If you have not received a text from me, you are likely to receive one on Monday if you haven't turned in your textual rhetorical analysis. And it is my hope that you can text me back, message me, call me, and just let me know where you are. And again, no shame. I don't think that, I think I've said this every single meeting, but there's no shame at all, like where you're at, because everyone's doing different things and life is really, really crazy right now. I don't have anything new to say. Poochie, I see you're in here now. Brittany was here earlier, and I think that she sort of came to the same conclusion, like no new information. I don't want to start requiring more work. So I think that all I want to do is touch base. You should be scheduling your phone conference, and I call it a phone conference, but we can do things like meet in Zoom, or there's a conference tab in Canvas. We can also Skype. We can also, if it really, really makes you nervous to have a conference, we can simply do it by email. And all you'd need to do is send me what you have for your final paper, and I'll see what I can do to sort of give it a thumbs up, thumbs down, and guide you in the right direction. So if you are working on your annotated bib, why don't you go ahead and schedule a conference with me? Technically, because there was not going to, I wouldn't have class, right? The week of conferences. If you'll recall, for the narrative conference, that was true. So in like these really technical terms, technically there's no class, next week because we're going to be doing conferences. That having been said, I'm still holding Zoom meetings, right? But that was the week that I envisioned all of you would be making conferences with me. So
I have a quick question.
Sure.
So for the, oh my God, it literally just left my head. Okay, hold on. Okay, for the assignments that we have, how come they don't appear on my to-do list? Like I've been working on the papers and stuff for all my classes, but the only assignments that don't show up on my to-do list on my phone are your classes, just the big papers, but not the like free writes. So I think I've just been like avoiding the free writes, or I don't know if I'm up to date on them. I don't remember, but
Well, I think that's probably because your other classes likely have due dates before
okay, that's fine.
May 17th. Yeah, but that's a really good point.
Just like coordinating the no due dates and then the to-do list, that it goes along with what we're supposed to be doing all at once. So that's why, like, I don't know how to ask that in question form, but can I make it like on my settings? Can I make it appear as to do? I need to do them.
I am not sure. I'm not sure if you can. I know that you can add something to your calendar and have the calendar show up in your to-do list, like the calendar event, right? So you can say like,
Okay.
do this assignment by this day and have it show up there. But otherwise I'd need to change the due dates, right? So that they would say, you know, coming up, you have this due. And I've already like pushed back the due dates. I don't feel great about making them due dates again.
No, yeah, don't do that just because of me. I mean, it's not like a huge deal. I mean, if anything, I'd rather just get the papers done and do all the free writes last minute, but like it was just like a quick question. It's not like super buggy me.
No, it's good of you to point out that may be something that's troubling a lot of other people as well. Is that if you have other classes, you know, like the stuff for this class is just not showing up in your to-do list, so you're not, you know.
Yeah, because I mean, I try and go by like one place to get all my assignments. That's why, but I was just double checking if I like didn't have my settings right on Canvas or what.
No, yeah, it's just the lack of due dates before the 17th.
Okay.
Yeah. But I mean, if you see, that's more work on your part, and I feel really badly for it, but you can go into your calendar and set the due dates up yourself, but that's sort of annoying.
It's okay. I mean, I was just wondering if there was like a way I could do it quick, but if I have to do that, no.
I know, yeah.
It's okay. Plus the free writes aren't like hard thing. It's not a hard thing to do, so I'm not.
Oh no, yeah, I hope not.
Yeah. I mean, they're harder now, but it's not like it's a difficult task to do.
What I can do, maybe instead of shifting the due dates, maybe I can make something in the calendar and then it would show up in your to-do list. Hopefully. I'll see what happens. Like, for instance, do you see these guys, the peer reviews and stuff on your to-do list?
Yeah, that comes up on everything but the free writes. So it'll say peer review, and then it'll say group discussion, or I think the logical fallacies, all those like quizzes came up on there.
Okay.
But it's just because, like you said, the assignments aren't with due dates anymore, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So I'll just make some calendar events and hopefully that'll help.
It's okay. I'm not too worried.
Well, you know, and you shouldn't be. You are definitely on top of things, which is excellent.
I'm still working on my sources, so I'm not super on top, but I'm struggling.
Is there any, are you still gathering sources? Is that what's going
on? That's what I'm still doing. I just have been finding so many articles that don't make any sense at all and I can't get anything from, or that's it. They're just like really hard to read.
Yeah. Yeah. I remember you saying that the difficulty that you had reading because of the community you're going for is in the health community.
Yeah. I mean, like I was considering changing my whole discourse community, but I'm already in a group. But
Oh, really? Okay. So if you're really feeling like you need to switch, do you have something in mind?
no, I was gonna ask you actually, like if you, I mean, I'm not asking for like an easy way out, but I'm asking for like if you know like a good discourse community that would be just like I understand what it is, but I just don't think I picked the right one to write like a huge paper on.
Um,
And it's weird because I have so much interest in like wellness and fitness, but this paper is making me not like it.
oh no, no, I don't want that to happen.
I'll spit on my workout routine.
Okay, so you are going through the databases, correct?
Yes,
Okay. Do you
just the
have
SEC one.
articles from there already?
I have a couple. They're on my
have a couple?
bookmarks.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if you have one or two, go for popular sources. I'm not going to be a stickler about finding sources that are peer reviewed, and like that's a huge part of it, which is why you're like doing the LR10,
Yeah.
right? But if you're having that much difficulty with it, then I would say switch over, see what you can find as far as news organizations or other things
Okay.
that you could Google. Like I'm going to give you the big green light on that.
Okay. And do you know like better keywords than like health and fitness? What would be like better research terms?
Well,
Because when you look up health, it's just everything health, heart, everything.
right. If you're looking at fitness specifically, though, then it should be something like that, right? Like I don't know.
Yeah.
You're part of the community, so I'm not super sure how to make that more specific. Like workout routines,
Yeah.
personal training. I'm not sure what exactly you're going for.
Okay. I'll look up on the thesaurus online. I'll be
Source.
smart.
But do you have an issue? Do you know what you're talking about as far as like the issue inside of your community?
Like my thesis.
Yeah.
I think it's hard to be part of the community
Mm.
because of all the stigmas within social media.
Okay.
Because I don't feel myself as part of it, even though I have a heavy regimen that I do every day to, keep up. I think that there's fitness, and I think that there's a fitness discourse that's just social media related for the image. But that's going to be really hard to put into like a thesis. I don't know.
No, that sounds perfect. I mean, especially from where you're coming from, you have the same values of this community. You have the same goals of this community, but you don't like the discourse inside of this community.
Mm-hmm.
So that sounds great, like a great place to be, honestly, because you can sort of talk about what those shared goals are, and talk about what the values are, and sort of give this general like, here's how I can relate to this community. Here are all of the things that I find that we have in common, but because of the way they speak to each other or speak to other people on social media, I can't comfortably call myself a part of this community. And so the way that I see it in my head when you're describing it to me is you'd outline again what those goals are. Try and find I mean, like, because I can imagine that what you're looking at is like you have the shared goals of health and of fitness and of like taking care of yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So you'd find sources for those things, and then you'd find a piece of something that you see on social media that sort of gives an example of like why these interactions are not good or not healthy, or you just don't like them. And then you'll analyze that and then come to the conclusion of the paper. So I mean, like, that's how I see it. Does that?
Yeah, okay. So I'm writing down stuff they're saying. Can I say social media doesn't accept if you're not quote unquote verified, even if you share the same values and follow the same steps that they're taking? If you're not verified with the like little check mark, then you're not anything.
Right. Yes. Excellent. That sounds great. Yeah.
Okay.
It sounds like they're doing what's called gatekeeping, right? So
Yeah, yes.
yeah. So you can also talk about gatekeeping and find sources about that. Like why communities have gatekeepers and what that does to a community, or like, you know, as an outsider, what it means to be kept out of something. So you can talk about that as well if you want to.
Okay. Okay, this is good. I'm glad I'm talking to you about it, because I felt pretty close-minded about it for a good 2 weeks.
Sure. It's, you get sort of like in this like track and you're like, this is the track. What am I gonna do?
Yeah.
So yeah.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
For sure. You feel better? It's good?
I do. Yeah, I do. Thank you.
Cool. For sure. Okay, so I need to write things down also. It's unfortunate that I haven't, didn't get a lot of feedback or, go into this knowing some things, because it's already been a month since we started online, and I have established expectations, and I desperately want to go back and change those expectations, but what are you going to do? I think what I'm going to do is add an event, turn in pre-writes and discussions 1 through 4. I think that if you're super behind and you haven't done any of them, I think 4 is an okay number to do all at once. And that'll be on May 9th, which is coming up so super fast. And hopefully you see this in your to-do list. It should show up there.
Yeah, I just got the notification. It just popped up.
There it is. Okay, cool. So that's what I'll have to do to try and help regulate some schedules. So that is what I will do. Yeah, it sounds like you're doing great. If you don't have anything else, I think that I'll just go ahead and end the meeting and get started on this.
Okay, thank you.
No problem.
Take care. Bye.
You too.